Thought, the Pro Tour, having success, very different than, say, Ben Stark's Esper list from the PT. He's really trying to capitalize on a number of Planeswalkers, Liliana the Veil, Jace, Architect of Thought, and Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, but also a full complement of Lingering Souls.
One thing that we talked about before we went off, before our first commercial break, is we do see a Ultimate Price take care of that Arbor Elf. Also, we're talking about players that staying in their comfort zone, playing decks that they are very used to. That's how they get. That's how you can generate an advantage in Magic. Just playing things that you're used to. Shaheen might be the king of that.
He, I mean, similar to actually, maybe Patrick Chapin, another person who can kind of, when you sit down across from him, 9 times out of 10, you have a pretty good idea of what they're sleeving up.
Absolutely. And you do see Shaheen is playing Esper Walkers here. Shaheen, kind of interesting in that, he doesn't really get to travel to play much Magic anymore as he is a school teacher, but, he is able to get to these invitationals, and he has top 8 the last 3 that he has played in.
That is a pretty impressive record, I must say.
He's on a bit of a streak here, as we're going to see Cavern of Souls, likely naming Human to put a Nightshade Peddler into play. Shaheen's going to follow it up with a Forbidden Alchemy, a card that we'll bring up on the screen for you guys, because Forbidden Alchemy, when it was spoiled, talk of the town.
Sure. I mean, I think it's still an underrated card, actually, now. I like it a lot more than maybe some people give it credit for. It digs you 4 cards, pick your best one, sort of an impulse effect with upside, because it puts it in the graveyard, which has a lot more value than the bottom of your library.
Yeah.
And then later in the game, 7 mana, flash it back, get another run out of it.
So we do see Shaheen there. Here he has an Obzed out over there. He's going to play a Hallowed Fountain on tap, push himself down to 18. And let's see if he's going to come out here with a Planeswalker, perhaps?
I would expect one. Oh, it looks like he maybe we're seeing just a...
I'm just going to flash back
Lingering Souls. Okay. Wow. This is going to play right into Josh's plan of getting a Staticaster in play and starting to mow some things down. I think he has one in hand. I believe I saw one as he flipped through. Yeah, that's right there in the middle. So expect him to run that guy out here and pick off these tokens.
And Mia's just going to pass the turn back. Shaheen's going to cycle an Azorius Charm.
Should jump on this now when he's tapped out. Oh no, letting him untap. Risking a Syncopate or other counterspell, but as we can see, knowing Shaheen's hand, not something we need to be afraid of.
So we're going to see Shaheen come across here for 2. And now we're going to see an Obzedat, Ghost Council. Father. So we're going to see that on the screen as well. This card is picking up in popularity very quickly here, as Shaheen's going to try to remove that there. And it looks like he just doesn't have a Staticaster.
That was a Prime Seeker Zegna in his hand, not Staticaster in the middle. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Josh, stuck here on 3 lands. Killing that Arbor Elf turning out to be really important for the way this game is playing out.
Yeah, huge. As you're going to see Obzed on the screen here, Peddler looks like it might come across here. I know, obviously, Obzed was a card that was in your sideboard, and this is a card that, when it was released, I think everyone goes, oh my god, this card is insane, look how powerful this is. It's a little bit difficult to cast, but if this thing's in play, it's incredible, as you see it coming back into play right now, and I think in the coming months, and maybe even the coming weeks, we're going to see just how powerful this card is.
I mean, early results out of Block Constructed suggested it might even be bannable. It's that good. I mean, it's in almost every deck. We're seeing, if you look at kind of the daily results, and here we have a back-breaking Detention Sphere from Shaheen, picking off both the Peddlers, which we're forced to pair with each other. Not who you really want to be paired with, just to keep that Obzed out of the red zone.
Yeah.
And wasting no time to just kind of charge ahead. And interesting now, we see Liliana coming to play, not activated. No tick up, no tick down. That must be a pretty disheartening sign.
That is the worst feeling in the world.
Has 4 cards in hand, doesn't want to discard any of these. These are all good.
Is that ticking up? No. Is it ticking up? No. All right, I'm probably dead then.
Yeah.
So we do see Shaheen Soorani. He's going to win game 1 with his Esper Walkers deck against Josh Glantzman playing Pedal to the Metal. A matchup that I think probably does favor Esper Walkers because, one place that Nightshade Peddler plus is a Staticaster is not very good against is a deck that's based around Planeswalkers.
Although I think Shaheen's specific list with the Obzedat, although granted he only does have 1 main, but Obzedat plus the heavy focus on Lingering Souls does make it a little better here than it is against traditional Esper decks. Right? Traditional Esper decks are trying to drown yard you out. Well, Shaheen can do that, has 3 drown yards. He does have his plan A minus B plus-ish kind of plan with these Lingering Souls and the Sorins that you get to shut down. So more value here than oftentimes. Okay.
Well, let's take a look at Shaheen's sideboard here. As he is up a game, sideboarding confidently. You see he's obviously got some cards that he wants for this matchup. And you see a lot of 1-ofs to go along with a couple 3-ofs over there.
Yep, so I mean this is kind of the more modern trend on sideboarding, right? You get these sort of all 1-of toolbox sideboards. 1 Urgent Exorcism, 1 Witchbane Orb, 1 Curse of Death's Hold, 1 Tameo, 1 Detention Sphere, 1 Ultimate Price, 1 Sundering Growth, 1 Evil Twin, 1 Trading Post. Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Going to Brad Nelson's heart.
And then 3 each of Rest in Peace and Negate. So they're kind of pushing linear themes. If you're up against a Graveyard deck, you want to really go overboard on Graveyard Hate.
Sure.
You're in a Control Mirror, you want to get a lot of Negates in there. Sure. Everything else kind of giving you a hodgepodge of answers because the threats they're answering aren't quite as powerful, or you don't need to be quite as prepared for them.
Sure.
And I kind of like that approach of really overstocking on the linears you want to push for. Here in this matchup, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Detention Sphere come in. Seems like, we saw it to good effect in that game, and it's just a pretty good versatile answer against a deck that probably won't have a lot of disenchants. I could even see potentially a Tamiyo, although I think typically Pedal the Metal has a lot of guys, and so Tamiyo locking down just one of them, maybe not exactly where we want to be positioned. Curse of this Hold obviously going to be good against a bunch of Arbor Elves and Nightshade Peddlers, if that's what he's worried about. So I could see going a couple different directions here.
Taking a look over here at the Pedal the Metal deck by Josh Glantzman, a lot of 2-0s in his sideboard, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Slaughter Games, 2 Duress, 2 Garruk Primal Hunter, 2 Rakdos Return, 2 Sever the Bloodline, and then 3 copies of Pillar of Flame. One thing he's going to do here is he's going to take out some of his bad cards, which I think he does have plenty of, and actually sure that up and play some good cards. Nightshade Peddler plus Staticaster, again, those cards are not very good in this matchup. There's certainly some merit to keeping in maybe 1 or 2 Staticasters to be able to one-up Lingering Souls, maybe those Sorens, which he has not seen yet. But I don't think Peddler is at home here at all.
I agree with you there. Peddler definitely going to all 4 of those are to come out. What do you think about Olivia Valderin here?
Olivia's an interesting card. On the surface, it's a card that does dominate matchups, but it feels like it's a very, either it's awesome or it's not good. That's how that card only feels to me. And I feel like in this particular matchup, it's just not very good. It's so unimpressive. You can probably do better. When you look at his sideboard, you see a card like Garruk Primal Hunter, you see Rakdos Return, you see Duress, you see Slaughter Games. Those cards are probably better than Olivia. I mean, you have to sideboard out something, and I think you're going to start with the Peddlers. You're probably going to shave some number of Staticasters, potentially all of them, and then Olivia is probably the next card on the chopping block. Now, what order to take those cards out in after Peddler? That's debatable.
I'd be shocked to see all the Staticasters go. I think you want to leave in 2 or 3 even. It depends on how much he understands of Shaheen's deck. I mean, we saw the 1 Lingering Souls. If he assumes there's 4, I like leaving in even as many as 3 Staticasters. It's just such a big part of Shaheen's game plan in some situations. And you named 8 cards he probably wants to bring in, right? 2 Slaughter Games, 2 Duress, 2 Primal Hunters, 2 Rakdos Return.
Yeah.
So we got the 4 Peddlers. Let's say we have 2 Staticasters. Maybe you cut some Huntmasters. Maybe you cut some Olivia. I think those are both up in the air, potentially.
Yep.
I think it's interesting to see maybe Prime Seeker Zegna. I actually have no idea where that card is at its best. I've seen it in a lot of deck lists, but I haven't played any of them myself, so I haven't had a good chance to get a feel for that card. Pairs well with Thragtusk, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious interactions with those cards are obvious, and if you're able to do it, then it's fantastic. You draw X amount of cards, you have a big body on the table, you're probably going to win if you can do that. The question is, can you actually get to that point?
Right.
Against an Esper Planeswalker deck, that seems difficult.
It definitely matters in how much he knows about what Shaheen's playing. So Shaheen, for instance, only has 2 Sphinx's Revelations.
Sure.
That makes a card like Slaughter Games a lot worse.
Yep.
Because Shaheen, what are you going to name? There's 2 Lilianas, there's 2 Jaces, there's 2 Sorens, there's 2 Revelations, there's 1 Terminus. I guess you could maybe name Lingering Souls, but you're already leaving in Staticasters to trump that plan.
Yeah.
You don't want to name that with Slaughter Games as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think maybe Slaughter Games deceptively bad in this matchup, where it would be normally quite good against these sort of decks.
Yeah, and Slaughter Games, as you said, deceptively bad is the best way to put it, because that's a card that Josh probably reached for immediately and shuffled in.
Yep.
Because when you're playing against these Hollow Fountain decks, the first thing that comes to your mind, even if you didn't even cast it, is, oh, Sphinx Revelation.
Yep.
Boy, that card's not fun to play against. I want to get those out of here. And Shaheen only has 2 of those, as we saw Forbidden Alchemy in his deck, so he has more ways to filter cards. Also has Jace Architect of Thought as well, so he's not reliant on Sphinx Revelation, where your typical Esper deck or your Blue-White-Red Flash deck actually is.
And maybe you Slaughter Game something like Supreme Verdict. It's like 1 angle of attack.
Okay.
But that's a pretty slow plan, right? I mean, you're casting Slaughter Games, so before you do that, you can't overcommit because you'll get verdicted on the spot.
Yep.
So you have to hold back guys. Then you resolve the Slaughter Games, and meanwhile, they're Shaheen's here building up lands and going to get to cast the Revelation for 5 or 6.
Yeah, he's not doing nothing over there.
Right, exactly. So I think it's just an awkward for the way Josh wants to kind of position the matchup to try to work on these Slaughter Games. Something like Duress or Primal Hunter are obviously much better.
Yeah, much more clear cut what those cards are going to do, what they're there for, and they're always going to do the same thing. Where Slaughter Games, how good it is going to vary quite a bit. As we do see both players, looks like they've kept their 7. Josh is going to start out here with, as you see, a Water Grave. He's actually going to come out with Overgrown Tomb. I feel like maybe we're going to see a Deathrite Shaman here.
Ooh, no, we're seeing the Duress. So we saw him also kind of considering playing that Water Grave, so I had a good idea he was going to be. Shaheen suggesting that the Lingering Souls might be what he wants to take. I suspect
that for a little bit.
Josh will see through that ruse and probably take Soren here. Yep, that's the hardest to answer of those cards. Obviously, not a lot of good ways to interact with Planeswalkers in Josh's deck beyond those 2 Rakdos Returns out of his sideboard.
So the rest of the hand you see there are Ultimate Price, and a Victim Night, a Lingering Souls, a Drowned Catacombs, and a Defiled Drownyard, and a Hallowed Fountain. So, a perfectly reasonable keep for Shaheen. I think that's a very good hand. and he's going to draw a card. You do see him draw another Catacombs. It looks like, actually, it's a Rest in Peace, excuse me, and does pass the turn back.
Interesting Rest in Peace. So maybe he thinks. I can't imagine that I guess just to shut off Deathrite Shamans and Tracker's Instinct Flashback, but that seems pretty narrow.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising to see him bring that in, honestly.
Maybe he expects there to be some kind of Umbrella Rights plan going on.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a misread of the situation. I mean, Josh didn't really do very much.
Yeah, there's not a lot that was seen. Here we see the Curse of this Hold. That card is certainly relevant.
So we're going to see a draw on Catacombs here, and is he going to pull the trigger on Rest in Peace right now? Obviously, he can't cast Ultimate Price.
I don't like playing that right here.
Yeah.
Ooh, he is. See, so I like waiting on Rest in Peace, and though I'm not sure in this matchup, maybe Shaheen might have a much better sense of it than I do, but typically you want to wait for them to kind of fill up their graveyard first, and get them the first time, because if they just replicate before they start doing stuff. But that's a more traditional kind of junk graveyard deck.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that's what Shaheen thinks he's playing? Because what do we see game one? I guess we saw a Peddler, which means you have to be playing something in this vein. Maybe he thinks it's like some kind of weird human reanimator deck?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen human reanimator decks in the past with the Peddler Staticaster combo, as we're going to see a Tracker's Instincts here turn over a Rootbound Crag, a Woodland Cemetery, a Forest, and a Farseek, and those are all going to get removed from the game, along with the Tracker's Instincts.
Yeah, so basically Josh spent 2 mana and a card to pass the turn.
And now you're going to see him play a Breeding Pool, and he's going to pass the turn back. I mean, you can certainly put him on playing that human animator style deck that just does have a different combo, as we've seen other players on the Open Series circuit do that. And now Shaheen's going to play a Lingering Souls here. And this goes back to your point, Tom, about, is it right to cast that Rest in Peace on turn 2? Because he had Lingering Souls in his hand when he cast it, so he's only going to get one half of that, and that's basically a sorcery speed Moonlight Hunting, or Midnight Haunting, excuse me, which is unimpressive. No one's running out the door for Midnight Haunting.
Yeah, I think, again, Sheen's played a lot more with this deck, certainly the style of Esper deck, so I'm going to defer to his kind of understanding of these matchups. My instinct would be that I would want to hold off on that Rest in Peace, get more value out of my Lingering Souls, but I don't have a sense for how explosive whatever version Shaheen thinks Josh is on could be.
Sure.
So Shaheen certainly is afraid of just getting comboed out and not having a chance to cast it.
Sure.
Or maybe he's afraid of having it dressed out of his hand.
Okay.
That could be the other thing, because he got turn 1 duressed, then drew the Rest in Peace.
Yeah.
So it's okay, if I let this thing stick around, he has a second duress in his hand, and maybe this is my most important, if he is human reanimator, my most important card.
So we are going to see here a Huntmaster of the Fells. You see Shaheen playing the 5 Giant. He's going to cast an Augur of Bolas. Typically in SCG Lifetime, it just puts 3 cards in the bottom. That's only what happens to Augur of Bolas, but it's actually going to hit for once. So we're going to see a Supreme Verdict go to Shaheen's hand.
I'm not sure I've ever hit on that card. I mean, that's...
That's what it does. It just puts 3 cards on the bottom, so you don't even have to look. As Josh is going to untap here. Now, of course, we know that Josh does have another Huntmaster of the Fells in his hand. He's going to draw a card here. I believe that card may have been Abrupt Decay.
Yep. But again, we don't even care about this Rest in Peace. Abrupt Decay is kind of an odd card. So he boarded that in actively, which I think is interesting. It's good against Attention Sphere, certainly.
Yep.
Maybe that makes some sense. I don't dislike that. I do think it's a little narrow. So now we're going to try to flip our Huntmaster into 2 open mana. This is ambitious. But successful. Nice read.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens as he does flip it over into the Ravager of the Fells. He did know that Shaheen does have Victim of the Night that he can't cast, and Ultimate Price, which has no effect.
But also knows that the Supreme Verdict we just revealed, which is why we couldn't play out our second Huntmaster like we might want to. Here we see Shaheen throwing some guys away because he's certainly going to be casting a Wrath.
Yeah. I think we've seen enough of this board. Shaheen would like to reset some things. Supreme Verdict is going to allow him to do that.
And now Josh really wants to draw a land here. A land lets him play a Thragtusk into an open board, putting him pretty far in the lead. And there we do see it.
Looks like that's what we've got here. We do have a Sulphur Falls, it looks like.
And with 2 islands in play, comes in untapped.
Yep. And now we are going to see a Thragtusk. That's going to gain 5 life. Put him a 5/3 on the board. Thragtusk pretty much at its best when on an open board.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And here we can see Shaheen, oh, there it is, the second black mana, but couldn't actually have cast his Victim of the Night until that draw.
So now we're going to see a Curse of Deathful. It's going to turn Thragtusk into just a 4/2, but sizable enough to still be a threat.
Yep. I like that play just because it's an efficient use of mana by Shaheen, so he could have played one of his two mana removal spells, but then he has 3 mana he's not going to get to use this turn. The way he's sequenced it now, he gets to use one of those next turn, and then potentially still activate Drown Yard. He draws another land, gets some more, or just draw another spell. Ooh, a second Thragtusk.
Yeah, which is a big draw there for Josh, as now he does have 2 4/2s in play. Supreme Verdict is going to take care of these, but it's going to leave Josh with not 1 but 2 2/2 beasts now, not 3 3s, of course. So Josh is still going to be able to pressure Shaheen, as Shaheen does just pass the turn back again, and he's just trying to stabilize here. But one of the cards that he does have in his hand right now, Tom, that will allow him to do that is Jace, Architect of Thought.
That'll certainly help, but I mean, these beast targets are still a little bit too big for it to really get shut down.
So Now we do see in Josh's hand, you see a Death Right Shaman, you see an Abrupt Decay, you see a Huntmaster of the Fells. You know, he has to consider his decisions of, you know, do I keep playing threats here? Are these 2/2 beasts big enough? What if Shaheen does have another Supreme Verdict? What if he has some number of Terminuses in his deck?
That's exactly what I'd be thinking about if I was Josh here. And maybe it's if you play out that Huntmaster and he has a Wrath, the game's almost over, right? You've lost all of your threats. But if you don't play it, are you going to kill him fast enough? Yeah. And it's a classic kind of problem in these kind of matchups. So here we see Jace now coming down, plussing. Oh no,
minusing. You don't know Shaheen. You think you do, but you don't. As he's going to turn over a Godless Shrine and a Zorish Charm and a Liliana of the Veil. I thought it was going up too. You beat me to it, and neither of us were correct.
Well, interestingly, it will actually survive here, right? So it's going to end up happening is Shaheen will just take the pile of just the solo land, I suspect. If we do land maybe not, actually. Here he's definitely take the land.
Yeah.
Because now he gets to play land, he gets the ultimate price or Victim of Night, one of those 2 tokens. Jace will go down to 1, and then he can play. Now we're going to have to see this Huntmaster hit the board.
Well, no, Jace will die because it's not going up, it went down.
Right, but he's going to kill one of the 2. Oh, right, sorry, still 2/2. Oh, yeah. Ignore me.
Yeah, so the question here for Josh is he going to send those both at Jace, or is he going to ignore Jace? Which is actually, I think, a difficult decision for him because the thought of Jace doing things is actually scary. But if I'm Josh in this position, I think I might just want to go towards Shaheen and say, I hope like you miss or you brick or on whatever you're trying to do.
We know about Victim Night and we know about Ultimate Price both.
Yep.
And knowing that, we know we're not killing with these 2 beasts.
Sure.
You got to get Jace off the board.
Okay. So both coming in?
Both have to go to Jace. I think. I don't think you putting Shaheen to 5 doesn't achieve anything.
Sure. So it looks like Josh does agree with you. He puts them both towards Jace Architect of Thought. Jace actually looking very good there, as you're going to see a Huntmaster of the Fells. Wolf Token going to come into play.
I'd like to see it's good. Yeah, play this Death Right. Now we have some Liliana insurance.
Yep.
We have a 0-1 we get to sacrifice because obviously he's not doing anything otherwise.
And so now let's see if Shaheen's going to pull the trigger on maybe one of these Victim of Nights, maybe the Ultimate Price. I feel like he's probably got to do something on the end step.
We got to kill one of these 2/2s.
And so he's going to go with Victim of the Night. It's going to take care of one of those 2/2 beast tokens. Shaheen agreeing with Tom as Shaheen does draw a card. He draws a Glacial Fortress. You see that hand of Sphinx of Revelation, Liliana of the Veil, Ultimate Price. Let's see how he's going to try to navigate the rest of this game.
I think we might just main phase the Revelation here for 4. We don't want to let Huntmaster flip.
Okay.
Liliana doesn't do anything here. It eats the Deathrite Shaman. Yep.
You are going to see a main phase Revelation. 4 cards and 4 life coming to Soorani. You do see the cards drawn there. Forbidden Alchemy among them.
Look at Alchemy, 2 lands and a blue spell.
A mystery
Dissipate it looked like, but I don't. I guess Dissipate would still be in if you think it's a Reanimator deck. Dissipate's very good. So I think he drew a Dissipate there as well. We really need something that's going to impact this board though. We need to find like the Terminus or another Supreme Verdict.
You see the hand here for Glantzman. Duress, a big draw for this turn.
Yeah.
To go along with that Farseek and that Prime Speaker Zagana.
Now the tension is, do we Duress or do we flip?
Well, that's the question I was going to ask you. I popped the questions here. I'm not smart enough to answer them. You're the champion in the booth.
So we're going to hit Shaheen for 4. We decided not to flip.
And he is going to Duress. So you see Forbidden Alchemy, Liliana, Ultimate Price, Dissipate, 2 copies of Drowned Catacombs. Tom, what do you take?
Alchemy right to the RFG pile. None of these other cards really do very much, I think. I mean, maybe take Ultimate Price and you just hope that Alchemy whiffs.
Because Alchemy will stop the Huntmaster from flipping. Shaheen can cast it on his main phase. He can also cast it to search for, Supreme Verdict.
That's what more I'm afraid of, is searching for that Supreme Verdict. I mean, I think we have to think about it. So say we take Alchemy, we hit him down to 7.
Okay.
Shaheen, the best case scenario, draws a blank. He draws a blank. He's just going to Ultimate Price the Beast token.
Sure.
Dissipate the next threat.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden we only have 2 1/1s in play, and Shaheen's at 7 life.
Sure.
I'm not sure that's going to get it done.
And he agrees with you. He is going to take Alchemy. And the big thing here as well is by taking Alchemy, no flashback on it because of Rest in Peace.
Yep.
So it looks like Rest in Peace might actually be biting Shaheen a little bit more than we initially thought, as Lingering Souls does not get the flashback, Forbidden Alchemy does not get the flashback, that Liliana not doing very much as well.
This Deathrite Shaman that's sitting here in play would be a huge game if that Rest in Peace was not around. So
That's
it
true.
certainly is. Shaheen might just be dead if he didn't have that Rest in Peace, to be honest.
And so now you're going to see an attack here for 4, and we're going to see a Farseek.
Yep. Another thing that's important to keep note of now, we're getting close to the range where a Rakdos Return could be lethal.
That's true.
We're getting enough mana in play. Now, we do know Shaheen has that Dissipate,
Yep.
so we have to bait that out first. But we are going to see Josh now with some late game ability to kind of just end this thing with a single draw step.
All right, so Farseek's going to resolve. Huntmaster will not flip. because of that. And now Shaheen is going to be taking his turn. He'll be untapping. He'll be drawing. Again, we do know he does have the removal spell, that Liliana, which is a little bit unimpressive right now. But plenty of good draws for Shaheen to draw right now. I think the best one probably being Terminus.
Terminus, yeah, Terminus, being that there's only one mana or Supreme Verdict there is really what he wants. What's it like? What is it like, Shaheen? Just casually miracling the one-outers.
See, when you do this enough,
poor Josh.
When you do this enough, you start just being able to call miracles. You'll get used to it after a little while here. We'll give you some time. Terminus off the top, putting Josh's threats to the bottom. Now you're going to see Liliana. That's going to tick up.
And now it's only relevant.
Abrupt Decay is going to take care of the Liliana most likely.
Yep.
And now Shaheen has Dissipate up.
Yep.
You want to talk about a turn of events, my friend? You just saw one.
Yeah, I mean, Shaheen had his back to the wall. He really needed that. And you see that stomping ground. So again, we're going to build up our mana to make that Rakdos return a big threat.
And we do see Shaheen does just draw Water Grave. We just let go. Josh untapped.
Ghana, I think, was the draw.
Yeah, now he's going to start taking them to the Drown Yard. 3 cards are turned over here. Shaheen's going to draw a card. He just has an Isolated Chapel. He's going to pass the turn back. Josh draws his card, Thragtusk.
That's what we wanted now, because now we can debate out that Dissipate.
Yeah, we're going to be able to get this Dissipate part of the game over with.
And Josh does not have any caverns, right? Oh, he has 1 cavern.
Sure.
So I think waiting around to try to draw this cavern, that's not a good use of his time. I like that play right there.
And you see another Drown Yard activation.
And now we have a Rakdos return being a legit.
And this is what you were scared of, as he does draw a Planeswalker finally. He does draw Tameo, the Moon Sage, a card that we're going to bring on the screen for you. And this is going to tap something down, but this is the power of Shaheen's deck. This is Planeswalkers in action, because a lot of the times with the Esper deck, they have like a lot of bad draws.
Sure.
In this kind of situation, they're always thinking, okay, I got to draw Revelation to be able to get this game over with. But now you see Tameo and the other Planeswalkers being able to be drawn from Shaheen, and now the game is just going to start snowballing in a bad way.
So not quite yet. So again, we're going to cast this Farseek here. We're going to play a 1/1. I don't like this play.
Well, I wouldn't play 1/1 because there is a Curse of Death's Hold in play. And I don't think that he should... Is there a creature in play that I'm missing?
Does it trigger off itself? It must, I guess. Let's pull up Prime Speaker Zagana here and take a look and see what he says.
Yeah, with a Curse of Death's Hold in play, I'm not sure that that's how that should work. Enters the battlefield. Okay, so it enters the battlefield, so it's not a trigger.
Among other creatures you control. He controls no other creatures. So yeah, that should not have happened.
Draw cards equal to its power, yeah. So
it should have just died, and he should not have drawn a card.
Yeah, he should not have drawn a card. So we are going to get that worked out right now.
Hear a judge call from that general vicinity from the booth.
As one of the things I actually wanted to bring up, but I wasn't positive because I didn't want to be incorrect about how Zagana worked, is that versus Curse of Death's Hold, which is in favor of the Curse of Death's Hold player. So we are gonna, something is gonna happen here. Yeah, I mean, he drew 2 cards off of that Zagana in the first place, which is a mistake anyway because Curse of Death's Hold's in play. So we are gonna have to do some rewinding of the game state among other things here to get everything correct.
So and the rules in this have changed so frequently; it's hard to know exactly what the rules now. It might just be that it was an improper trigger.
Yep.
It might be the drawing extra cards, which would be a game loss. It could go a lot of different directions here. Frankly, Josh has basically lost his game regardless. So it's not going to be. Well, what's happening now? We're now drawing more cards. We're just continuing. And it's keeping a count. This is bizarre. So it keeps a counter.
We'll have to get a judge's ruling exactly on what's going on here, as this is a bit of a surprise. We'll find out, when we do get the information from our spotter, we will get it from you guys and contact it to you guys at home, as this does look like an incorrect game state, but we could be wrong. We've been wrong before.
It could be the ruling that it was just too far gone.
Sure.
Although, because he'd drawn cards, it does seem like a strange ruling. But, I mean, they'll get it sorted out. I mean, they're playing on. So we will continue to. It looks like Prime Speaker keeps the counter.
Yeah.
It's a 1/1. Cameo locked it down. We're now getting in range of a lethal potential Rakdos return. It looks like now we've having another conversation off to the side. It looks like.
Yeah. Now you see some slow. Yeah. You see.
Maybe it is dying now.
Yeah. So you see
that's awkward because now the Cameo's been used on it as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to get this game state correct for sure, and come to a consensus opinion on what they're gonna do here.
It is awkward they had that kind of mini pause and then restart and play it on for another turn, which made it harder to back up and get this really smoothed out.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the sort of thing where it kind of comes down to, yeah. And Tom, obviously, you being a professional player, you know about this. Just kind of having control of the situation. You know, maybe appealing to a head judge, something that you're not comfortable with. Is both players do look pretty uncomfortable right now. You can just tell by the body language of what's going on in this situation.
It is pretty awkward. I mean, it's just a very awkward mistake with the price figure since it so explicitly says other creatures. Even and everything else aside, missing the decimal piece seems reasonable. That kind of thing happens. But not noticing that it's other creatures is a pretty big mistake.
Yeah. And so you do see the table spotter. They're trying to sort things out there. You know, this is a situation where at every players meeting, when they do go over things, they say that if you're not agree with the ruling, you can certainly appeal to the head judge.
So now what we're doing is we're putting 2 cards back at random. This is a whole turn. We had a turn draw step 2. We've had spells. This is kind of a strange kludgy fix.
It looks like they're currently just trying to make the best of the situation and just move on with the game. So it looks like
an appeal should have happened there.
Yeah.
I don't imagine that was the cleanest ruling, but at the end of the day, I mean, it is awkward. I always like to see the situation resolved in a way that keeps us close to how the rules should enforce it as possible.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is harder to do than other times. Here we found a way to kind of do that.
Yeah. Certainly about trying to keep the integrity of the game.
Yep.
Without question.
And that's one area I actually prefer to have almost. Oh, we did not cast our Farseek. That's odd. I almost prefer to see greater judge discretion to let judges affect a change and kind of get the game state to the right spot. I know the rules right now are kind of prescriptive. They tell you have to do X, Y, Z.
Sure.
So here, I think, Josh, I would have just played the Wolf Run and cast the Farseek and just try to get as much mana in play as possible so that a Rakdos return is lethal. It's possible that both returns have already been milled, and he knows this.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to keep cards in hand to just try to make Shaheen worry about them.
Sure.
There could be a lot going on that we're just not aware of from our angle.
So Josh will draw a card. It is a Tracker's Instincts.
Shaheen
says that's fine.
Not minding him milling himself for 4.
You see Garrick, Deathrite Shaman, and Rootbound Crag. So as far as Tracker's Instincts goes, those are about as bad as they can be. As now he's just going to play an 0-1 off of this as well.
Yep.
Because of the Curse of Death's Hold, Deathrite Shaman will be an 0-1. Rest in peace, making sure that there are no graveyards either. As you're going to see Shaheen just continually activate those Infallible Drown Yards. Draws a second one finally, so now you can start really turboing this up now.
Yeah, this one will not go on for too much longer.
And Shaheen was thinking,
0-1.
Yeah, he thought about going down to an 0-1, and I think he just realized, oh, that card doesn't actually have any text. It doesn't do anything. And he is going to edict it. Okay.
And he's locking out a land again. All right, so Josh has to draw Rakdos return right here. Overgrown Tomb, not the same.
Shaheen going to do a little mill action here with not 1 but 2 Drown Yard, 6 cards being turned over here.
Now we also have the sick option of Ultimate Tameo, Drown Yard yourself to draw 3. We have a lot going on now that's pretty filthy.
You know, that's actually not that good of an option, Tom.
Oh, not with the dressing piece in play, I guess.
Correct.
That's a fair point.
That is correct. See, even you're getting confused by the game state. That's right.
Shaheen's
even you're getting confused.
Coming back to stop him from making sweet plays like that. So here we see Shaheen taking down the match 2-0 in rather decisive fashion, really. That game was, up until the terminus, was in question, but at that point on, it was really Shaheen's game to just to close out.